The Black Sabbath lead singer Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76.
I've been laid up for like fucking 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
The new details emerging about Ozzy Osbourne's death changes everything about how we see his final weeks. The Prince of Darkness didn't just die. He orchestrated his own ending like the ultimate rock performance. And the clues he left behind will blow your mind.
Unfortunately, we've come to our final song for you.
July 22nd, 2025. Heavy metal lost its king. But these shocking new details reveal Ozzy had been planning this exit for months. The Cryptic Instagram post hours before his death. The $190 million farewell concert exactly 17 days earlier. The way he settled every single affair like a man who knew his time was up.
And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man.
Ozzy Osbourne's death wasn't random. It was the most calculated performance of his entire career. And the evidence is hiding in plain sight. 17 days before his death, something impossible happened at Villa Park in Birmingham. A man who hadn't been able to walk in years somehow summoned the strength for one final show. But this wasn't about giving fans what they wanted. This was about Ozzy getting exactly what he needed.
I've been laid up for like fucking 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel. Man.
July 5th, 2025. Ozzy Osbourne took the stage for his farewell concert despite Parkinson's disease ravaging his body for over 2 decades. 6 years bedridden, 6 years of his body betraying him daily. Yet there he was, performing like his life depended on it. Because maybe it did. Sharon had worked for an entire year to make this happen. But here's what's haunting. Ozzy didn't just perform because the show was organized. He insisted on it. He demanded it. Even when his body was failing, even when standing was agony, he refused to let his career end silently. The concert was billed as Back to the Beginning, the original Black Sabbath lineup reuniting for what everyone knew would be the last time. Over 40,000 fans packed Villa Park, with 5.8 million more watching the live stream worldwide. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, and metal royalty performed as opening acts, but everyone was there for one reason: to witness history. Ozzy performed from a black leather throne because his legs could no longer support him. His voice, though, that unmistakable wail that defined heavy metal, remained powerful. He belted out War Pigs, N.I.B., Iron Man, and Paranoid, each song feeling like a final prayer. The charity aspect adds another layer. All proceeds, reportedly $190 million, went to Birmingham Children's Hospital, Acorns Children's Hospice, and Cure Parkinson's. A man settling his earthly accounts, making sure his final act served others who were suffering.
I just want to say to you on behalf of the guys in Black Sabbath and myself, that your support over the years has made it all possible for us to live a lifestyle we live. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. I love you, we love you.
That wasn't just gratitude, that was closure. A man saying goodbye not just to his fans, but to the life that had given him everything and taken everything away. The concert ended with him blessing the crowd. Thank you, God bless you all, that's good night. 17 days later, he was gone. What Ozzy posted in his final hours wasn't random. It was a calculated farewell disguised as a simple memory. While the world slept, the Prince of Darkness was dropping his last clue. The Instagram post seemed innocent enough at first glance. A backstage photo from his farewell concert, showing the dressing room door with his name and the original Black Sabbath photos. But those 4 words underneath told a different story entirely. Back to the beginning, the final show. This wasn't just about the concert. This was Ozzy telling the world exactly what was about to happen. And nobody realized it until it was too late.
Feel immortal.
No. I feel lucky to be alive, and I'm immortal, but, because I've done some pretty damn crazy stuff.
He said, I felt lucky to be alive, past tense. Not, I feel lucky to be living or grateful for each day. Lucky to be alive, as if that luck was running out and he knew it. The timing of that Instagram post is what makes it so haunting. Posted just hours before his death, it reads like a man who had already made his peace with fate. Not someone surprised by mortality, but someone who had been preparing for it. Throughout his final weeks, Ozzy's behavior suggested a man conducting a careful farewell tour of his own life. He spent time with each of his 6 children, creating final memories with his grandchildren and reconnecting with longtime friends and bandmates. Every moment felt deliberately constructed. Every conversation carried the weight of finality. Kelly's engagement to Sid Wilson happened backstage immediately after the farewell concert.
Kelly, you know I love you more than anything in the world.
Fuck up, you're not married more than
Nothing would make me happier than spend the
The timing wasn't coincidental. Ozzy had orchestrated this moment, ensuring he could witness his daughter's happiness before his time ended. He knew he wouldn't be around for the wedding, but he made sure he was there for the proposal. The photographs from that night show a man glowing with satisfaction, not just from the performance, but from seeing his family's joy. But this careful orchestration of family moments hadn't happened overnight. Months earlier, when the weight of his declining health was crushing his spirit, Sharon had recognized the danger signs. Her husband was drowning in what he would later describe as Doom Town, a place where each morning brought new physical failures and the crushing realization that his body was betraying him daily. Sharon saw her husband slipping into despair and gave him a final mission, one last chance to be Ozzy Osbourne on his own terms. The concert became his reason to fight for a few more months to prepare properly for his exit. His final Instagram post wasn't random social media activity. It was a deliberate message, a final statement from a man who had spent months preparing for this moment. The image of that dressing room sign, "Back to the beginning, the final show," wasn't documenting a concert. It was documenting the end of a life. Knowing that his time was near, Ozzy used every opportunity to say goodbye, and he did. Every conversation in those final weeks carried the weight of finality. Every moment with family felt deliberately constructed. Every public appearance seemed designed to provide closure. This wasn't a man caught off guard by death. This was someone who had been conducting a methodical farewell for months. The Instagram post was his final message to the world. He had come full circle, back to the beginning, and he was ready for the final show to end. In any case, Ozzy Osbourne had always controlled his narrative, from his outrageous stage performances to his reality TV persona. His death followed the same pattern, a man orchestrating his final act with the same precision he brought to his most memorable performances.
Split personality. I've been certified as schizophrenic. I mean, in the respect that Ozzy Osbourne and John Osbourne are totally 2 different people. As it is now, I'm John Osbourne. But Ozzy Osbourne sometimes takes over John Osbourne, and he got...
For decades, Ozzy had talked about the duality between John Osbourne, the private man, and Ozzy Osbourne, the performer. In his final months, it seemed like John Osbourne was finally taking control, making the decisions that Ozzy the showman might have resisted. The farewell concert wasn't just a performance. It was John Osbourne saying goodbye through Ozzy's voice. The charity donations, the family moments, the careful orchestration of final memories. These were the actions of a man thinking beyond his own legacy. All $190 million from his farewell show was donated to charity. The funds were split among Birmingham Children's Hospital, Acorns Children's Hospice, and Cure Parkinson's, an organization dedicated to finding a cure for the disease he had battled since 2019. This wasn't typical rock star philanthropy. This was a man liquidating his final assets, ensuring that his last major act served others facing the same battles he had fought. Sharon had previously spoken about their end-of-life agreement. In her 2007 memoir, she revealed that they had made plans to seek assisted suicide in Switzerland if either developed dementia. While Ozzy had Parkinson's rather than dementia, the mindset was the same. A couple who wanted to control their exit rather than surrender to prolonged suffering. Even his relationship with Sharon carried this sense of completion. Their marriage had survived addiction, infidelity, violence, and decades of chaos. By the end, he had made peace with all of it, expressing gratitude for the woman who had managed his career and held his life together through every crisis. Their love story read like a rock and roll nightmare that somehow transformed into a fairy tale. In the early years, Ozzy's demons had nearly destroyed everything. There was the infamous incident where he tried to strangle Sharon during a drug-fueled psychotic break, leading to his arrest and a night in jail. Then came the 4-year affair with his hairstylist that almost ended their marriage permanently. Sharon had every reason to walk away, every justification to protect herself and their children from the chaos that followed him like a shadow. But she stayed. Through rehab stints, relapses, financial disasters, and public humiliations, she remained his anchor. She built Ozfest around him when no one else would book him. She created their reality show when his music career seemed over. She fought his battles when he was too broken to fight them himself. In his final months, watching her orchestrate his farewell concert with the same fierce dedication she'd shown for 40 years, Ozzy finally understood the true depth of her sacrifice and love. The way he spent his final weeks reveals a man checking items off a carefully constructed list. Time with each child, completed. Witnessing Kelly's engagement, completed. Final performance for the fans, completed. Charitable giving secured, completed. Final message posted, completed. This wasn't a man who died unexpectedly. This was someone who had spent months preparing for his departure, ensuring that every loose end was tied, every relationship was reconciled, and every final wish was fulfilled. His death wasn't a tragedy. It was the conclusion of a carefully orchestrated farewell tour. Throughout his life, Ozzy Osbourne had been underestimated. Critics saw the chaos, the addiction, the outrageous behavior, and missed the calculating intelligence underneath. His final months revealed the same pattern. A man who appeared to be deteriorating while actually orchestrating every detail of his exit.
What's more insane than building a bomb to blow us all to bits? Or me getting on the stage in my crazy way into entertaining people? Who's the crazy one? I don't want to be I want to be the star at the Doomsday concert I do.
Even in the 1980s, Ozzy understood that the madman persona was performance art. The real John Osbourne was sharp enough to build a multimedia empire, savvy enough to turn his chaos into profit, and intelligent enough to maintain creative control throughout 5 decades in the music industry. His final act followed the same template. While the world saw a sick old man struggling with Parkinson's, Ozzy was actually executing the most complex performance of his career, his own death. The evidence is in the details. The farewell concert wasn't booked because he was dying. It was booked because he wanted to control how his story ended. The charity donations weren't afterthoughts. They were strategic decisions to ensure his final act served a greater purpose. The family moments weren't spontaneous. They were carefully crafted opportunities to create lasting memories. The psychiatric evaluations throughout his life had revealed someone who couldn't be categorized or controlled by conventional medical understanding. That same complexity allowed him to approach his own mortality with a clarity that surprised everyone around him. Incredibly lucky to have the farewell concert in Birmingham, or incredibly strategic. The farewell concert wasn't luck. It was the culmination of months of planning. The title Back to the Beginning wasn't coincidental. It was deliberately chosen to frame his death as a completion rather than an ending. His final interviews reveal someone who had moved beyond fighting his condition to accepting and working with it. The depression he described wasn't despair. It was the natural response of someone processing their own mortality and finding peace with it. People saw illness and weakness. What they missed was the strength required to orchestrate such a comprehensive farewell. The physical deterioration was real, but it masked an emotional and spiritual preparation that few people achieve. The genius of Ozzy's final act wasn't in the spectacle, it was in the subtlety. No dramatic pronouncements, no public countdown to death. Just a man quietly arranging his affairs, saying his goodbyes, and exiting on his own terms. His entire career had been about pulling off impossible dreams through sheer force of will. His death was no different. The final, impossible dream executed with the same precision that had defined his life. The man who had once promised to be the star at the Doomsday concert had kept his word. He didn't just die, he performed his death, turning his final exit into one last unforgettable show. Ozzy Osbourne's death wasn't the end of a story. It was the completion of a masterpiece that had been decades in the making. The Prince of Darkness had orchestrated his final act with the same attention to detail that had made him a legend.
Unfortunately, we come to our final song for ever. Thank you. God bless you all.
Those final words from the stage carried weight far beyond a typical concert farewell. That's good night, not see you next time, or until we meet again. Good night. Final, complete. The end of the show. In the days following his death, tributes poured in from across the music world. Metallica, Elton John, members of Guns N' Roses, and countless others shared memories and condolences. But what struck everyone was how prepared his family seemed, how organized the response was, how complete his final arrangements appeared to be. The family's composure wasn't the result of sudden grief management. It was the product of months of preparation. Sharon didn't scramble to organize a memorial service. She had been planning it alongside the farewell concert. Kelly and Jack didn't struggle to find words for their father. They had been having those conversations with him for weeks. Even the most practical details had been handled. His will updated, his personal effects distributed, his final wishes documented and communicated. Even the family statement reflected his careful planning. No shock, no confusion, no scrambling for words. A prepared statement from a family that had been given time to process what was coming and say their goodbyes properly. Meanwhile, Black Sabbath's surviving members each shared personal tributes on social media reflecting on their time with Osbourne. Guitarist Tony Iommi wrote, "I just can't believe it. My dear, dear friend Ozzy has passed away only weeks after our show at Villa Park. It's such heartbreaking news that I can't really find the words. There won't ever be another like him. Geezer, Bill and myself have lost our brother." He added, "Rest in peace, Oz." Bassist Terrence Geezer Butler said he was thankful they had one last chance to perform together during their July 5th reunion. "Goodbye, dear friend. Thanks for all those years. We had some great fun. 4 kids from Aston. Who'd have thought, eh?" He wrote. "So glad we got to do it one last time back in Aston. Love you." Drummer Bill Ward also shared an emotional tribute. "Where will I find you now? In the memories, our unspoken embraces, our missed phone calls? No, you're forever in my heart. Deepest condolences to Sharon and all family members. R.I.P. Sincere regrets to all the fans. Never goodbye. Thank you forever." The band's official social media accounts posted a striking image of Osbourne from their farewell show, captioned simply, "Ozzy Forever." Metallica shared a throwback photo with Osbourne and stamped it with a simple heartbroken emoji on Instagram, followed by a longer tribute. "It's impossible to put into words what Ozzy Osbourne has meant to Metallica," the band wrote. "Hero, icon, pioneer, inspiration, mentor, and most of all, friend are a few that come to mind. Ozzy and Sharon believed in us and transformed our lives and careers. He taught us how to play in the big leagues while at the same time being warm, welcoming, engaging, and all-around brilliant. We are heartbroken and devastated by this loss and send our love and condolences to Sharon and their family, bandmates, and his very large circle of friends. He left an incredible legacy and will be sorely missed." While Green Day's Billie Joe Armstrong wrote, "No words. We love you, Ozzy." One of the rock icon's most unexpected pals, squeaky clean singer Donny Osmond, had high praise for Oz while posting a hilarious commercial they recorded together for Pepsi Twist in 2003. "Remembering my brother in music, Ozzy Osbourne. I've always looked back at this commercial we shot in 2003 so fondly," he wrote. "The last time we spoke was backstage of Dancing with the Stars Season 9, when he told me how much he loved the Osmond song, Crazy Horses. Talk about crazy. Thank you for always bringing your authentic personality to everything you've touched. From Crazy Horses to Crazy Trains, rest in peace." Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello shared a photo of himself and Osbourne and captioned it, "God bless you, Ozzy." Rolling Stones guitarist Ronnie Wood shared a photo of himself and Osbourne on X and wrote, "I am so very sad to hear of the death of Ozzy Osbourne. What a lovely goodbye concert he had at Back to the Beginning in Birmingham." Elton John posted a heartfelt tribute on Instagram. "So sad to hear the news of Ozzy Osbourne passing away," he wrote, posting a throwback photo of himself and Osbourne. "He was a dear friend and a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods, a true legend. He was also one of the funniest people I've ever met. I will miss him dearly." Pearl Jam shared a picture of Osbourne along with a personal note from Mike McCready. "Sad to hear Ozzy died today," he wrote. "When I was in high school, I discovered Sabbath. War Pigs was terrifying and mesmerizing at the same time. It was Ozzy's voice that took me away to a dark universe, a great escape. Thanks for the music, Ozzy, it makes our journey in life better." Posting a photo of Osbourne when he was younger, Questlove simply wrote, "Long live the Oz. Rest in melody." In any case, Ozzy's legacy isn't just in the music, though songs like Crazy Train and Iron Man will echo forever. His legacy isn't just in the cultural impact, though he helped create reality television and redefined what it meant to be a rock star. His legacy is in showing that even death can be an act of creativity when approached with enough intelligence and preparation. The voice that held through his entire career, that's what people will remember. But those who paid attention to his final months will remember something else. The mind that held through everything, the intelligence that guided every decision, and the heart that made sure his last act served others rather than just himself. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.